this race or no? Robert, can you just make the wire as tight as possible?
Yep.
Neck?
Better now.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. It might kind of goes tight enough, it might fall though.
Just do whatever's comfortable.
This is the weekend that Canadians celebrate. And for those in the Ontario racing industry, there have been other reasons for celebration. 1 month ago, racing returned after a long, arduous winter. And this weekend, things kick into high gear with the beginning of the stakes season. And so, too, another season of live coverage here on COSA-TV. We kick things off this afternoon with the Kin Pace from Clinton Raceway. And it's coming up next.
All right, there's the scene from the famous Red Barn. You're watching live action from Clinton Raceway this afternoon near the shores of Lake Huron, Ontario. And there's a look at Significance. Narrowly holding on, it appeared on the inside. And the significance of that, well, 2 years ago, she took home the Kin Pace, and that is the featured event here this afternoon from picturesque Clinton Raceway, where we have 4 races coming up for you this afternoon, including a pair of Ontario Sire Stakes grassroots divisions. Again, one of the famous landmarks of this particular half-mile oval. Again, about a half hour from the shores of Lake Huron, and home to many famous beaches, of course, in the area. People that know me know I like the beach. You know that, Mark.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a beautiful part of the world, and it's great to have you joining us once again here this afternoon. Greg Blanchard, Mark McKelvey at the desk will be joining Robert Reed Jr. momentarily. So really cool, Mark, to be able to watch a past winner of the marquee event scoring here today, and really going to set us up well for an exciting afternoon.
It certainly does, and sometimes things come full circle, as that was the case right there. But the Kin Pace is our feature event here today. 3-year-old pacing fillies, Ontario Sire 3-year-old pacing fillies to take the spotlight in a race that I would say with each passing year, Greg, continues to just build and continues to grow a bit of a legacy. A race that when you get to the history of harness racing, it doesn't have maybe the biggest past, but that's growing with each passing year, and it's a race that's circled on the calendar for many of the sport's top trainers here locally. And of course, with you look at the field, you've got all the top connections here today.
Absolutely, and a real stepping stone for many top Ontario sired fillies, and some of them have gone on to bigger and better things, not only in Ontario, but even on the Grand Circuit. And we've got a really good group for you today. Again, a quick recap of the weather if you're just joining us. A beautiful sunny and warm afternoon. Wonderful to see some fans on site here today as well, and playing on a fast oval. So we could very well threaten some records here today, and we'll talk a little bit more about that during the show. So we'll be with you for about the next hour and a half or so. And a look there at driver Doug McNair. And in fact, it looks like he got up and scored with deadly action there, knocking off Significance in race number 6. We'll start with race 7 as part of our coverage today. We'll take you all the way through race 10, which is today's main event, and it is the Ken Pace. But right off the top, we have a poll question to pass your way. And as always, we want to hear from you today. Let us know where you're watching in from, and have your say with our poll question as well. You know, this seems to be getting to be a better race every single year, Mark. When you talk Johnson Cup trainers, there's, 7 or 8 guys, I think, coming into the season that have a realistic chance to win. So we want to know, who do you think is going to be the top trainer in the provincial program this year? Will it be Sean Stacey, the defending champ? Greg McNair, Anthony Beaton, Ben Bayerjean, they were all part of the top 4 last year, or somebody else? And many other trainers, Bob McIntosh, Blake McIntosh come to mind, Dave Maneri, many others that will be prominent this year in the OSS. Who's your early pick, Mark?
Ben Bayerjean. You know what? When we came out of these shutdowns in the past, he seems to always have his horses ready to rock, and we've seen that over the last couple of weeks. And the OSS season kicked off on Thursday night at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and it's been a very active weekend for the OSS right off the hop. Obviously, a little bit of juggling had to be done with the schedule, but we're going to jump right into it, and it'll be interesting to look come tomorrow, maybe even Tuesday, at those OSS driver and trainer standings, because hey, those points at the early part of the season count just as much as the ones at the end.
Absolutely. Really busy weekend, chock full of stakes action as mentioned, and today no exception. And so busy that we brought in another member to help us out today, Robert Reed Jr., who joined us during our baby race qualifying action the other day. He's a busy guy himself, but took some time to make the drive here today to join us. Robert, great to have you on board, and what can we look forward to today?
Well, I'm super excited to be here, Greg. Beautiful Clinton Raceway on a gorgeous day, and with fans too. My first time back at a racetrack with fans, so I am thrilled to be here. And you know what? We've got 2 fantastic OSS grassroots races for 3-year-old trotting fillies, and the big question for me is, will Fuzzy Angel finally get the job done? She's still a maiden. She's got placings in gold races. I know that Jody Jamieson is pretty confident she'll get the job done today, and we will hear from him a little later on about that. And in the other division, Rubies Are Nice. I'm excited to see this one as well. And we've got an interview with Doug McNair, who will not only touch on his race, his drive in the Kin Pace final, but also that OSS grassroots steer on Rubies Are Nice. But hey, the main event looks like a great one. Obviously, a better game looks like the one to beat. But hey, I'm in the corner of Salzbrook Olympia. I think that filly has been full marks for the effort. And we even have an interview with Brett MacDonald as well. So jam-packed with content and interviews leading up to that big race.
Thank you very much, Robert. He's got a great vantage point, as you can see. He's up on the hill where a lot of people love to watch the racing from here at Clinton Raceway. Let's take a look at what is coming up today on COSA-TV. We've got an overnight race, the bread and butter types to hit it off, kick us off here this afternoon. Race 7, a filly and mare claimer for $7,000. Then back-to-back grassroots action. Ontario Sire Stakes for the 3-year-old filly trotters. Already some impressive efforts earlier this afternoon. That'll lead us up to the Kin Pace final. The 3 elimination winners from a week ago will be back, and a great supporting cast joining them in that $58,300 final over in race number 10. So it's going to be a busy afternoon. Glad you could join us. We'll take a quick commercial break right now and be back with race 7 from Clinton Raceway next.
Dark Horse. Download the app today.
There's a look from the backstretch. Again, a very scenic town, Clinton, Ontario. The racetrack nestled right in the heart of this small community. Houses all the way along the backstretch there. As you can see, a big community pool in the first turn, the famous Red Barn, and a sports arena in behind the top turn here. And always a big crowd when able to be on site. And Mark, again, we can't reiterate enough how much the atmosphere feels like it used to here this afternoon.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel any different than it did a couple of years ago. There might be a few less spectators here, obviously with the current capacity limits that are in place in the province. 25% of your outdoor seating or outdoor capacity, I guess is how they would put it. So obviously that limits all the fans that can be here today at Clinton Raceway, but there's still a great crowd, energetic, and I think that's a lot of what it is, Greg. I think a lot of people are just so happy to be back out that 300, 400, 500 people probably feels like double or triple that on a day like today.
Yeah, and I mean, you can maybe tell us what it was like at Woodbine Mohawk Park this past weekend. Canada Day, of course, celebrated this past Thursday, led into a really busy weekend of stakes action, and the ability to have fans back on site there had to be exciting.
Last night just felt like old times, and that's exactly what we've all been clamoring for over the last year and a half, and it was great to see fans back on the rail. You know, I posted a photo, or a video I should say, on Twitter last night after Bulldog Hanover won the OSS of Jody Jamieson, as he always would do, heading down the stretch, going up the stretch and coming down the rail. I call it Jamieson Lane, waving to the fans. That was just great to see, and I think what maybe spoke volumes was the fact on Friday night, severe weather really rolled through Campbellville just before that car to racing, and with the fans only being able to have access to outdoors, you wondered how many people would show up. There was still a great crowd on hand. So people are eager to get out. They're chomping at the bit, and it was just great to have that atmosphere back.
And a testament, too, to the pent-up demand to be there and for the return of racing. You said you guys posted an Instagram reel for the first time.
Yes.
Trying something new with your social media. You said it was the most
I think the most engaged
post.
post we ever had on Instagram. So it just shows that people are eager, like you said, and one thing I guess we can take from the pandemic is we've had a lot of time to assess how things were done before and try to grow, and I think that's where hopefully our industry continues to head here as we welcome back fans and look to grow our fan base.
Yeah, for sure. One gentleman that's going to be really busy here this afternoon, and a guy that's off to a great start in 2021, is the man they call Double J, Jody Jamieson. We'll see him in the upcoming 7th race. He'll have drives in the OSS and, of course, in the Kin Pace final a little bit later. And he had a big weekend at Mohawk Park. Robert Reed caught up with him a little bit earlier today to get his thoughts on that and his lineup today.
All right, we're here with Jody Jamieson, and he's going to be driving Sports Duchess in the Kin Pace final. But Jody, first I got to ask you about Bulldog Hanover last night, that performance. I was in awe. What was it like from your perspective?
Well, I mean, he just went like next level. There's no other way to describe it. I thought he was great, but he really proved it to everybody last night how great he really is, and honestly, it's next level stuff. I mean, to go parked like that through a half 54 and then draw off in 49-1, it's something that you don't see very often. I'm not even sure if I've ever had a horse do that, so it was a pretty special moment.
Yeah, it was. It was just an incredible performance. But let's talk about today. You've got an upcoming drive in an OSS Grassroots with Fuzzy Angel. Bit of a hard luck filly, still a maiden, but last year you drove her to a 3rd place finish in an OSS Gold. What do you think it's going to take for her to break through today? Well,
she loves the turns. I'm expecting her to have a great effort today. I think she'll just get around this track like a lot of other horses can't, and I'm expecting her to win. Plain and simple. If she minds her manners behind the gate and I can get around, get her to the first turn, I think there'll be sky's the limit tonight.
All right, moving on to the Kin Pace final. You were the winner last year with Watch My Speed. This time around, you've got a bit of a, I don't want to say long shot, but not one of the main 3 in Sports Duchess. You've never driven her before. What goes into your process when you've never sat behind one?
Well, I mean, look, I was in the eliminations last week. I watched all the eliminations. You see how they race, you see their tendencies. But, she's competitive. She was 2nd last week, and I'm expecting her to be real close again and get good money.
All right, and is there any less pressure when, you're not one of the favorites in the race?
Listen, man, there's no pressure today. We're at Clinton on a Sunday afternoon. The Kin Pace, it's their top, one of their big days of the year. There's no pressure racing in Clinton. We just love it here.
All right, awesome. Well, it is a beautiful day in Clinton, and you know what? Never count out Jody Jamieson. He's going to be on Sports Duchess in the Kin Pace final.
Head last year, an upset victory. There's a look at some of the crowd getting some shade on the hill that overlooks the far turn here at Clinton Raceway, including James MacDonald. We'll see him in action this afternoon as well. So, yeah, it's just a real intimate atmosphere, isn't it, Mark? For those who've never been here before, it's got a community feel. The harness racing industry, of course, is a big community, and then located within such a tight community, it's really got an atmosphere that's unique, I think, compared to a lot of places.
Yeah, it does, and a facility that's perfect for hosting events that have to be done outdoors, correct? I mean, racing's always outdoors, but you've got a grandstand, like the open air one here at Clinton. You've got an opportunity for people to sit up on the hill in the final turn. So, I mean, perfect scenario for a great day of racing here in Clinton, and the conditions. We were talking about before it came on camera. It might be the hottest place in Ontario. I don't know if I've ever come here, and it is not. And today, that shade that we just saw, that's at a premium. So fans are clamoring to get a spot under there to try and stay out of that sun.
We don't want people to think we're complaining by any stretch of the imagination. We love the heat.
Yeah.
You know, on the East Coast today, I heard that they had to cancel the big card in Summerside. They're getting unseasonably low temperatures, so that's obviously disappointing. And Inverness, I believe, today as well. So hopefully some folks on the East Coast are tuning in today and enjoying the coverage, and I believe they're going to carry over their program there to tomorrow night. Again, want to say hello to everybody tuning in today. A few people watching online on our feed. Alan Middleton from the UK again. Crystal Samard, hi to Crystal, cheering on Jackie of all trades today. Our good friend J.D. Varnell on board. Mark Anderson from Illinois, and many more. We love to hear from you and where you are tuning in from today. And following the show, we're going to draw 3 names randomly to win Winback Farm baseball caps. So we'll be drawing names from all of the comments today and awarding those at the end of the show. But time to have a look at an overnight event here in race number 7 to kick off our coverage today. Doug McNair already with a couple of wins on the program, and he will be guiding the post 8 starter Kahlua Morning in this spot. He'll be following out the 4-5 favorite, now even money, number 1 Artistic Meadow. And Mark, we should tell people that here at Clinton they do score 7 wide, and there is a trailer from that 8 post. And he's going to be following out a horse that made a little miscue at the start last time out.
Yes, that's the case for Artistic Meadow, who 2 times back makes the break before the start, and that was with the rail starting spot, which is the same spot we're going to see Artistic Meadow go from here today. Then it was kind of a switch of things for Artistic Meadow last time out, starting from the 2nd tier. So this is one that's very familiar with that rail spot, but we'll see what Trevor Henry can do here this afternoon. And that's one thing you're going to catch on to as you get a look at the field page here for race 7 is you've got some of Ontario's best drivers in town here today for the Kin Pace, and naturally they're going to pick up some drives in the overnight events, and you just look to see how maybe they can step one up because it's certainly a betting angle. There's no doubt about that. You're inside 2 taking the money. Trevor Henry, a good look there on Artistic Meadow, who is 1 for 2 this year. Again, didn't matter that miscue 2 back, still got the job done. So here's a horse that is racing very well through 2 outings, and you just look at the line from last time out, really had to make a big effort after getting away 7th to get up for a 2nd, a well-beaten 2nd, but nonetheless finishing in those top spots. So Dennis Carras to be pretty happy with what he's seeing from the 7-year-old mare Artistic Meadow to this point.
Makes a good pre-race appearance there for sure. Really going to be interesting though to see what happens in here, because Trevor Henry, I mean, I don't think there's anyone better on a half-mile track and getting that early speed out of a horse, but this is one that traditionally has to be a little bit careful at the start. You know, the break 2 back came with the rail. The good news is, though, the horse recovered fully, came all the way back from 8th to 1st last week, got away 7th from the trailing spot, and closed to be 2nd into a very fast 57 4 mile over this track. So you have to think if he gets around the first turn in good order, no matter where she gets away, she will be a factor. Having said that, who's your top pick here?
I went with Artistic Meadow, so not getting away from the chalk. You know, you try to find some horses to go against. I thought Artistic Meadow, just based on those recoveries, you know, you'd have to think 2 back, that miscue. There was no miscue last time. It did start from the 2nd tier. You just figure 3rd week in a row they've got this one in, likely made some adjustments, and here's one that should be able to get around without any issues today. I just couldn't go against. Was hoping for a little bit of a better price, and at even money right now. The 2 Queen of Hearts though goes all the way last time out, a coast-to-coast winner, and really shows some good early speed. It was shown back at London in March, and then last time out here at Clinton from post 3. So you expect Jody Jamieson's going to employ that speed here in the early going, and you like to find a bit of a price in here. You're looking for somebody else to use, but really those two just standouts on paper.
Yeah, because of that
race
tactical
wages.
speed, I assume this one is going to get a bit of an advantage in the early going. And Queen of Hearts, I think, gives Jody Jamieson a really strong probability of hitting the winner's circle. And Robert, in agreement with me here as we try to get the favorite beat, but if you do, you're not going to get rich, certainly. Maybe just a quick thought, if you're trying to find someone outside of that top pairing to maybe get there.
Well, the second tier starter, I think about 5-1 on Kahlua Morning. There's a horse that I think is going to benefit from having somebody decent to follow. I mean, we'll see if Doug McNair opts to maybe even follow the 2 Queen of Hearts, and we'll probably get this one in the mix. That this horse has got enough back class that she can likely hang in there to get a good chunk of it.
All right, hello here to Stuart Marsh, watching in from Ontario, Mike Janice as well, and Diane Crossman and Barb Longafee from the East Coast tuning in. We've got the first of 4 here this afternoon, and we'll go upstairs to one of the very best in the province's history for calling races, Frank Salive with the action.
Mares claiming pacers. In motion at a start. They're often pacing with Moramapo flying out of there from the 7 post. And Jody Jamieson has Queen of Hearts under some early urging. Trevor Henry tight to the pylons there with Artistic Meadow. And they're going to battle 3 lanes wide over to the backstretch as Queen of Hearts will back off. In behind Artistic Meadow, and that leaves Moramapo out there to drive on and put the pressure on post-time 1-2 favorite Artistic Meadow. It's about 2 more lengths to What Mocks Me Win, laying off in 4th. Kahlua Morning got away in the front 5 ahead of She's Magic. Second to last is River Rising, and then Follow the Dream is the trailer. Well spaced out, and Moramapo gets the worst of it on the flank of Artistic Meadow. Queen of Hearts enjoys the pocket view. What Mocks Me Win has closed up well into the front 4, and they approach the half this way. 5 more lengths. And lagging in the backfield is Kahlua Morning ahead of She's Magic, River Rising, and Follow the Dream. They were at the half, and Artistic Meadow still hasn't shaken off the parked Moramapo. They went splits of 28, 57. 57 was the half. Artistic Meadow going a huge tempo. Moramapo finally starts to weaken. Queen of Hearts may be licking her chops from this pocket trip all the way. And What Mocks Me Win looking for more clearance. Down on the inside from 4th, that's Kahlua Morning. 3 lanes high up into the front 5. Spaced in the backfield, She's Magic, River Rising, and Follow the Dream. Artistic Meadow trying to bottom out the field. 127-1, and they've left the rest back in Grey Bruce County. Artistic Meadow and Trevor Henry opening a huge margin into the stretch drive and trying to coast it on home. Artistic Meadow will win this all alone. Here's Kahlua Morning that's up for 2nd. Queen of Hearts able to follow up 3rd. What Mocks Me Win was 4th best. She's Magic 5th. And Artistic Meadow showed the short way home. 157.
157, a stellar effort from Artistic Meadow, and we talked at length about how you were going to have to be careful and that lack of gate speed, etc. But we forgot Trevor Henry, the Trevor Henry factor. Nobody, I don't think anybody can get one off the gate better than him on a half-mile track here in the province, and he showed why there. He just simply said, you know, I'm the best, and I think she can navigate things, and he really had her on her toes, and power drove her, as they say, and the result was a resounding win.
Yeah, open length score here, but it was the opening 1/8 of the mile where this race was likely won by Artistic Meadow, and as you talked about, I don't think anybody would have been surprised if Queen of Hearts just made the front, and then if Trevor Henry could have got Artistic Meadow out of there nicely enough, she probably is going to quarter pole, but doesn't have to do that because he just drives right on. I bet Jody Jamieson thought he was going to step around because he did have about a length going into that first turn. Instead, Artistic Meadow cuts the corner, as they say, and then gets to control it. And Trevor Henry just kept this one rolling. A big half mile of 57 seconds. Back half's in a minute, but 157 is a new career best for this 7-year-old mare as she picks up her 9th career score and knocks over a full second off her previous mark of 158.1 taken at Hanover.
Yeah, and really, Mark, when she is on top of her game, she's just too good for these, frankly. You know, when you can make a break at the start and come all the way back and sweep the field to win, that indicates that. The only potential equalizer today was that lack of gate speed. Could someone else you get the lead, and would there be other horses in her way that might make the trip too difficult to overcome? But again, that was all negated today in the opening 8th, and once she got around that first turn in good order, even though the fractions were hot, she frankly is the only one in this class with that ability to withstand that and keep on going, and won rather easily. So congratulations to the connections. Shelley and Jane Kerr of nearby Goderich, Dennis Kerr, the trainer, and Trevor Henry in the driver's seat for the victory in the blanket presented by Ontario Racing. That's the first of 4 here on our COSA-TV coverage today. We'll take another quick commercial break, and we'll have the prices from Race 7 when we come back.
Winbank Farm of Ontario is home to 7 outstanding pacers, including Better Than Cheddar, a proven sire of Ontario Sire Stakes Gold winners. 3 rich performers stand their 2nd season in 2021, including O'Brien Award winner Jimmy Freight, Horse of the Year McWicked, and O'Brien Award winner Stag Party. Also standing, Millionaires Aren't Speak, Better's Delight, and Shadow Play. For more information, it's winbackfarm.com.
All right, welcome back. There's a look at Artistic Meadow making her way back to the paddock location after an authoritative win in Race 7 here this afternoon. There's a look at that community pool as they go into the first turn here. Not open to the public just yet, but hopefully soon. Usually it's a beehive of activity and a very cool vantage point for families and kids that are here. They can be in the pool enjoying a warm afternoon like today, and then be able to watch some harness racing going on right in the backdrop there. So there's a look at her making her way up the big hill here back to the paddock location, and congratulations to the winning connections. We'll check in with the prices of that race in a moment. She delivers as the favorite here in this opening contest. Queen of Hearts, the second choice, third, and splitting them. Getting up for second was a Kahlua Morning, so it's a 1-8-2. Top 3 finish order here in race number 7. So while we're waiting for those prices, let's go to another interview from earlier today. Robert Reed Jr. with another one of the drivers prominent this afternoon in the Kin Pace and other races, driver Doug McNair.
All right, we're here with Doug McNair, and he's going to be driving a better game in the final of the Kin Pace. But first, Dougie, I got to ask you, you've had tremendous success up here. You've won 3 of the last 5 installments of this race, and you always are a major force on the half mile. What do you attribute that success to?
Drivers that do well, the number one priority, you got to have the right horse, and you got to be aggressive on these small tracks. That definitely pays off.
All right, and before we get to your drive in the Kin Pace, let's talk about Rubies Are Nice in a division of the OSS Grassroots. This filly last year you drove for 4 times, second in the Champlain, and this season now they've added, taken away the trotting hopples. Have you talked at all to Louis Philippe Bois? Is there camaraderie there to talk to him about that last win when she didn't wear them?
I actually I haven't talked to him about it, but I mean, I'm sure Rob and the guys will probably fill me in on everything about her. She was good gaited last year. One time she ran on me, I was sitting in the 2-hole, and we were going for pretty good money. I just run up in the back of the guy's helmet, and she made a break. So she's usually pretty sure-footed. So, I mean, we're going to take our time a little more today at that smaller track, and obviously score her out a little bit and get her a feel for it, and hopefully have some luck.
You like your chances today?
Yeah, you know, she's definitely got more trot, or as much trot as any horse in there. I mean, she trotted 55 last year, I think, as a 2-year-old. So, I mean, even if she does that or a couple of ticks slower, she should win in there.
All right, moving on to the Kin Pace, you've got a better game, impressive winner last time. Bit of a tardy start, but then, wow, did she ever put in a big performance? What do you think her chances are today?
Oh, her chances are huge. You know, she's definitely the one to beat, I think. She can beat them both ways as long as she behaves and I can get her in the right spot at the right time. I think she's got a really good shot at winning for sure.
All right, any insight to what the game plan will be?
No, I'm just going to float her out of there a little bit and just kind of play it by ear. You know, she's so nice you can do whatever you want with her. As long as she stays on her game, she should have a really good shot.
All right, Dougie. All right, well, good luck in that Kin Pace. And Dougie's going to be looking for his 4th win in 6 years, which is an incredible feat. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
All right, nice to hear from Doug McNair alongside Robert Reed Jr. We'll see Doug in race number 9, our second grassroots division of the afternoon coverage, and then, of course, in the Kin Pace. We're going to catch up with driver Brett MacDonald as well, talking about his Kin Pace drive a little bit later on today. I want to welcome some more viewers tuning in today from far afield. We've got Gail MacDonald. Gail, of course, she's the matriarch, I should say, of the family, the famous MacDonald clan, including Curtis, who's producing the coverage today for Cujo Entertainment, Mark, Anthony, James, and big brother Lloyd as well. So hello to Gail, tuning in today and wanting us to send some of that weather down east, where again they're having a bit of a poor day. We've got Tapani Stenroos, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Uvilla, Finland. Great to have him on board. And Roger Olsen from Sweden. Wonderful to have our viewers tuning in from all over the world today. Hope you're enjoying the coverage so far. Getting to our first OSS Grassroots division coming up next, and we'll get a look at them making their way out. Quickly though, we want to touch on Fuzzy Angel, the number 3. Really intriguing, Mark, that here's a filly that's 0 for 13 coming in, yet has $40,000 made. So one of the better maidens in the province currently.
Yeah, very much. Just real camera shy. She just hasn't been able to put it together to get to the line first, but those results are consistent. And as you mentioned, great earnings already on her card of almost $40,000. And you just go back to last year, early on, they tried the OSS Gold throughout the season, and she finished 3rd in a gold event, right on a half-mile track at Grand River Raceway. So she's never had a problem, really, for the most part. There's been a few miscues here or there, but she just can't seem to get it done. And I think they're very confident today could finally be the day, but overall, it's got to come at some point for her. 11 starts last year, 2 already this year, and just hasn't been able to get to the winner's circle just yet.
Well, today could be the day. I think definitely a big shot, despite the 0 for record in here, as we get a look at them on post parade. And we'll have a few moments to talk about this contest. You look at some of the trainers in here. Dustin Jones, certainly great success over the years with trotters. He's got a daughter of Prestidigitator in this spot. Prestidigitator, of course, campaigned by Dustin during his brilliant career, which included a Hambletonian appearance.
That's right. And again, for the Jones family this year, likely pretty key for all of them, as Tyler Jones, Dustin's son, has decided to take the plunge into driving full-time in Ontario. Had been driving in Quebec and also at Rideau Carleton, but is now moved towards that Guelph area where he's hoping to catch on and get some drives. He picked up his first Woodbine Mohawk Park win a little over a week ago, which was likely a very big moment for him and their entire family. And here they are with that daughter, Prestidigitator. This is one that, solely owned by the Dustin Jones stable. Was in a qualifier last time against Pemberton, and that O'Brien Award winner was coming with a bit of a mission that day that he was going to storm home for a big mile. A 26-4 final quarter. Ultimately, Can You Swing It was not going to keep up, but she trotted a pretty nice mile of her own, 1:59.3, and the big thing was just keeping it all together after she'd made a miscue late in her mile in her season debut. If she bounces back, she's got the rail in here. I think this is a nice filly that obviously they've maybe, you would have to think, had high hopes for her, but they shut her down last year after just 2 starts. So protecting her, you could say, I would imagine that, they're taking their time with her because they know that she's got some potential.
Il Sogno Dream has produced some solid racehorses here in the provincial program, and represented here by number 2, Iona Dream. Terry Gallant, former Prince Edward Island resident, he's been in Ontario the last couple of years plying his trade, and brings this one in off of an overnight win, a maiden breaking score in career start number 8 last time out from Hanover, as we get a look at our selections in this spot. Mark's going to go to Fuzzy Angel to try and break that winless skid. I'll go next door, had I known better. James MacDonald. Nobody hotter than MacDonald in the driver's seat here over the last couple of weeks or so. And in fact, I believe he's moved into the lead in the driver's standings at Woodbine Mohawk Park.
Was able to surpass Sylvain Filion last night. Now Sylvain Filion came right back and equal James MacDonald's total for the year, but MacDonald posted a hat trick and he leads Filion by 1 after last night's card. He's already got 2 wins on the card here today, and it just shows this is a confidence game as much as anything. And here's a driver that's having a lot of success, and it's transferring over to all aspects for him. And I would imagine, like you mentioned, no one hotter, but when he's out there, he probably thinks he's got a shot in every spot, and he's got a good opportunity here with Had I Known Better, who's currently 2-1 on the board. And you mentioned it. I'm going with the horse that's never found the winner's circle, has got that winless streak at 13 races. I just thought maybe the price wouldn't be 4 to 5. This one is taking quite a bit of attention. I'd have to think, you go back and people are seeing those gold efforts from last year still on her line, and you're looking at the combination of Jamieson and McIntosh, who are always a formidable duo in the Ontario Sire Stakes.
And on days like today with stakes racing, you get the best drivers in the province here, and it certainly shows. There's a reason they are at the top of the standings in Canada, and they have an impact on these horses. We saw it with Trevor Henry in the last race, and I like the horse that he's on here. So does Robert, in fact, number 6, Hope So. You look at this one, 7 starts is coming in from a high percentage barn, the Bob McIntosh stable. His record speaks for itself, and a couple of victories, and I think that speaks volumes. Here's one that has been able to win a couple of times coming in. Appears very steady, good gated, all those things. So I think Henry's going to have the luxury of being fairly aggressive with her. And if he can do that on a track like Clinton, a half-mile oval like this, it's a big advantage.
It certainly is. And it's always interesting to see for Bob McIntosh. They've obviously got a ton of homebreds, and not all of them are going to make it to the races when they're a 2-year-old. And that was the case here with Hope So. So she makes her debut back at the end of February in a qualifier, goes right into the maidens at Woodbine Mohawk Park in March, and she found the winner's circle, had a couple good results, and likely builds that confidence at an easier time to be racing in the maidens. And it would have been interesting to see what their game plan would have been with Hope So. There probably would have been an opportunity to race in a late closer in the spring. That got wiped out, so she ended up having time off just like many of the horses here in the province. And when she came right back, she was a winner. So, the last 2 efforts maybe wasn't... it was a little bit of a jump up having to go to the non-winners of 2, but she got that win in the 2 or 20 right off the hop, and it got a little tougher, I'm sure, the next 2 weeks, but she's got that confidence, and that little break probably didn't hurt her at all either, because here's one that's, again, 7 starts this year. That's the most in the field, but at the same time with a fair bit of inexperience, considering she didn't race last year.
Just moments away from our first of 2 Ontario Sire Stakes grassroots divisions for 3-year-old filly trotters. And final look at the odds board, 4 to 5, continuing to hold is Fuzzy Angel, who's yet to win a race, so even money maybe a tough pill to swallow. Some other options certainly to consider, including Hope So. I like the look of this one as she comes up to the gate. Will occupy post 6. Hellos going out as well today to Roger White tuning in. Roger Wright, I should say. Scott McLean, good friend of ours from back in Charlottetown, tuning in. And Hart Duddy watching all the way from West Virginia. Great to have you on board here this afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the coverage live on COSA-TV. The gate is rolling for Race 8, first OSS division of the day.
And they're off and trotting. Hope So was on a break as the gate got away. Fuzzy Angel and Had I Known Better are the first two away. Had I Known Better on the outside. Looks at a big 2-hole there, and going on with the lead is Fuzzy Angel for Jody Jamieson. And they're into the backstretch towards the quarter with Iona Dream. Coming off the wings in there from third. Can You Swing It was fourth best away. Then The Last Dance is gapped off by another pair. And after the early miscue, Hope So is trying her best to catch the field. There was Fuzzy Angel to pass the quarter, 29-2. Right on her back is Had I Known Better. Fuzzy Angel and Had I Known Better, it's about 4 more lengths to Iona Dream, back there in third. Another length and a half to Can You Swing It. Another 2 or 3 to The Last Dance from fifth. And Hope So is again off stride and back of the group again going on breaks. Here is the half-call completion. Fuzzy Angel is out front. It's Fuzzy Angel and Had I Known Better. James MacDonald sitting with what appears to be a big handful in the 2-hole there. And they pass the half in an honest 59-3, going 29-4, make it 31-5 in the second quarter. Down the backstretch final time, Fuzzy Angel, Had I Known Better, has been taking a sweet drafting trip. Ranging up on the outside, Can You Swing It? And Tyler Jones are on the move and into the front trio. Iona Dream flattened out, back in fourth. No more to offer from The Last Dance fifth, and Hope So is out of it after repeated breaks. So it's Had I Known Better, tightening right up onto the back of Fuzzy Angel, closing in from third, Can You Swing It? 130-1, 30-3 in the third. Jody Jamieson shakes the lines. Fuzzy Angel responding in a big way and trotting away to win the third division of the Grassroots Series. Fuzzy Angel was flawless in victory. Had I Known Better followed up second. Can You Swing It third? Iona Dream was fourth. 158-4, Fuzzy Angel.
Fuzzy Angel is a maiden no more, and when you watch a race like that, it's hard to believe that the filly had not been able to find the winner's circle prior to today, but it is career win number 1 in lifetime start number 14, and she does it, Mark, in track record fashion. Certainly does. Shaves a fifth off the previous track record of 159 set last year on Kidden Pace Day by Profound Paragon. And here it is, 158-4 for Fuzzy Angel. Track record performance in the OSS here this afternoon. Jody Jamieson taking a page out of Trevor Henry's book. We saw it in race 7, and Jody with the same approach. Thought he was the best, got around that first turn in good order, took no prisoners, and the filly really unstressed the rest of the way. A really impressive effort, I think, from this filly. She's a big, strapping daughter of Archangel, but handles the tight turns here on the half-mile oval flawlessly.
Yeah, she does, and I just go back to that Grand River start a year ago in the OSS Gold. Maybe a little bit different when it comes to the banking of the turns there, but she had no real issues there, and she got a third in a gold event. So here's a filly that I think if you ask the connections, they probably wouldn't have any knocks on her other than she maybe had a little bit of bad luck, and maybe you just question, did she want it? And here today, when you know, everything was basically lined up for her to break her maiden, was she going to deliver? And she did just that, trotting away for a real good mile there. I mean, track record, you can't find anything to knock in that performance from her. She was perfect here this afternoon. And you have to think that could be a springboard for the filly, hopefully to bigger and better things. Certainly a lot of talent, 58-4, and did it very easily here this afternoon. So an eye-catching win. Jody going to take her up in front of the live audience today at Clinton and give them an up-close look at the filly.
Again, welcoming everybody to Clinton Raceway here this afternoon. While we wait for this winter circle ceremony, we'll just update you on a couple of earlier divisions of the grassroots from today. Tipsy and Dixie and James MacDonald took the first split. They were post 7 starters in race 3 and were victorious wire to wire. Harry Polton trains that daughter of muscle mass. And then in race number 5, it was Team McNair clicking. Father Greg doing the training, Doug driving, a blue blood for owners Matt and Roy Trelford, and a blue blood winning for the 3rd time in 6 this year. She stopped the clock in 2 minutes and 3/5, and we just had a look at the fastest split of the day. In fact, the fastest in the history of Clinton Raceway by a 3-year-old trotter, and it's Fuzzy Angel delivering as the favorite in 1:58 and 4. Blake McIntosh, the trainer, and he's been on quite a roll the last couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, he has. He's been racking up the victories. Tons of babies, right? So we saw him a lot during the baby races over the last few weeks, and now those horses are getting an opportunity to go under the lights, and they've been delivering. So I would have to guess it's been a good run right now for Blake McIntosh. This has certainly got to make him feel good too, to finally get this one to the winner's circle. And Jody Jamieson, again, adding an OSS victory here today, as he'll look to come right back in the Kin Pace in a couple of races with another McIntosh trainee.
We will try and get those prices for you if we can in a few moments. But right now we're going to head over trackside. Robert Reed Jr. with the Winning Connections.
All right, we're here with Jody Jamieson, driver of Fuzzy Angel. And before the race, when I spoke to him, he had the utmost confidence in this filly. So did it work out the way you thought, Jody?
Well, you've seen a couple guys taking a shot at me off the gate there. James MacDonald was trying to give me the... I told him if he can't get around me leaving, he better not try me again. And he didn't. He didn't try me again. But he did try me once leaving, and once I put him back in the 2-hole, my mare was just tons the best today.
And track record time 1:58 and 4. I mean, you got to be pretty confident going forward now. She just broke her maiden. Confidence should be up. You know, where to from here?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's the grassroots. I think till or bust, I think. But you know, it's a great mile over this track today, and she proved that she's one of the best ones in the grassroots.
Awesome job, Jody. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck in the Kin Pace final with Sports Duchess.
All right, and a big season continuing for Jody Jamieson. Jody, now the veteran of the driver colony. You know, it wasn't that long ago. He was the young up-and-coming kid, and he's had just an amazing career. And hey, he's far from past his prime. You know, he's got lots of good years left, and he's showing that this year. He's driving as good as we've seen him for quite some time. And again, he's one of those guys, he's confident in himself, and it translates to these horses.
And that's what we've been talking about. Confidence is king in this game many times, and that's what we saw. A nice performance from Fuzzy Angel. And it's funny, Greg, we go back to last year when we were here for Kin Pace Day, and if I remember right, that track record of 1:59 was set in the final division by Profound Paragon. It was the division before, won by Moana, where she had actually broken the track record. So it actually ended up changing hands, that track record title, a couple of times over the course of last year's Kin Pace card. Now we've seen it lowered here, 1:58.4. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that we'll see a track record breaking performance in the next division, but it's just amazing to see that they continue to chip away at it with each year that passes.
Yeah, and the Kin Pace, I think we've got to talk speed records potentially in that race as well, based on what we have seen from the track here this afternoon so far. It's going to be a lot of fun, but we've got another OSS grassroots division coming up next year in race number 9. But we are going to look ahead again to the Kin Pace and catch up with Robert Reed Jr. Earlier today, he spoke with driver Brett MacDonald, who has another one of those elimination winners who is coming into today's final in top form.
And being the leading driver right now at Grand River Raceway, what do you attribute that success to so far?
Just the horses you drive, the trainers that put the trust in you to do well and stuff like that. So a lot of it comes down to the horses that you get to drive.
Okay, and I see that you've developed a relationship with Richard Moreau and driving his over the B tracks. How did that come to be?
Last year, after the first lockdown, I ended up driving them last summer, and then we've just kept that relationship.
Okay, awesome. And Salzburg Olympia, you've driven her in all 5 of her last wins, and that's a 5-race win streak for this one. 2 as a rookie, and now 3 as a sophomore. What about her progression from 2 to 3?
She's bigger and stronger this year at 3. Everything I've asked her to do, she's done. And we haven't really hit bottom with her yet, so I'm not sure what she's capable of.
And last week, a lot has been made of a better games performance, 156-4. Your filly 2/5 slower in winning hers. Look like there was a lot left in the tank, though. Can you elaborate on that for me?
Yeah, she did it really easy. Once I made front, I got to rate it the way I wanted, and she kicked home, but I never really asked her. I never kicked the plugs or anything like that.
Awesome. All right, Brett. Well, good luck in the final of the Kin Pace. Salzburg Olympia will be my top selection in that race, and I think she's going to be tough to beat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to Robert and driver Brett McDonald, another of those young guys that has really made a name for himself in the last couple of years, racing primarily at the signature track level and some of these summer tracks. You have to think it's a matter of time before you'll start seeing him potentially on the big circuit.
Yeah, you would think so, although you wonder when you get into a spot like that where you can become the top dog on the smaller tracks. That's a pretty good spot to be in, and Robert asked him right there about his relationship with Richard Moreau, and that's a relationship right there that will certainly benefit him down the road when he does decide to make that move and that transition. But for the time being, you'd have to think he's pretty happy, and the other thing is just trying to latch on to maybe some nice sire stake horses, in a spot like Salzburg Olympia, other horses that he's driven here today. Those will be the ones that'll get you your taste at the big track when you can stick with them, and if you can have a little bit of success, it'll only grow. But everybody loves a winner, and if you can get a lot of wins beside your name, you're certainly going to have plenty of people giving you opportunities down the road.
That's for sure. And, there really isn't any rush because you look at a guy like Trevor Henry, for example, for years, the kingpin at tracks like Western Fair in London. And, he was, by most people's standards, a little bit older when he made the move full-time to Woodbine Entertainment Group circuit, fit in like a glove, and now is one of, Canada's top drivers year in and year out. And when he comes back here, obviously knows these tracks really well. So, yeah, Brett, a guy to look out for. Speaking of the standings this year in Canada, Doug McNair leading on the money-winning side with just shy of 900,000 over Sylvain and James MacDonald. Top dogs, though, in the Ontario Sire Stakes program when it comes to stallions. No surprise on the trotting side. Muscle Mass, and he's prominent again today.
Yeah, he certainly is. And for Muscle Mass, we are watching all those babies over the last month or so, and again, just making an impression felt right off the hop. And coming up in the next race, you look at a filly like Rubies Are Nice, the daughter of Muscle Mass. She was a top finisher in some Sire Stake and Grand Circuit events a year ago. Muscle Mass, he's got that talent that is not just restricted to the Sire Stakes. It can go to the top level and just continues to have another big year, and we're only just at the start of it, really.
Horses and drivers are now on the track for this 9th race, the OSS Grassroots Division number 2. As part of our coverage today, we saw Greg Dustin, the trainer and driver on the 1, Luna Sealster. That one is a daughter of Whelan and Dealing. Larry's Girl, that's my top choice in here, the Post 2 starter, Bob McClure driving. Coming off a good runner-up effort last time at Georgian. Only 3 starts in, getting a little bit better each and every time out.
Yeah, and that's something to keep an eye on. Horses that will continue to progress and take steps forward here today on the half-mile oval. Just one start on a half-mile oval that we can go back to and reference. That was way back in March, and that was in her career debut. So you expect that she's taken some strides forward and should put together what will be a good effort. A 3-1 on the morning line, currently offering 6-1.
Steve Byron and John Bax, a lethal combination in the grassroots for the last number of years on the trotting side. They're going to team up with Havana Moon here. It'll be the first start for the Bax stable. This one had been racing in Pennsylvania at the Meadows. The result's not great there. It's going to have to step up here today. She is one of the 3 daughters of Muscle Mass in this group, and number 6, Rubies Are Nice, trying to give Doug McNair another win in grassroots action this afternoon. She's very much like Fuzzy Angel in that, she showed a lot of talent and ability, but took a long time to finally crack that first win.
It did, and you'd imagine back at the end of August last year when she competed in a Champlain division and got a second place effort behind Donna Soprano that the connections would be expecting her to get to that winner's circle a lot earlier than it took, and she didn't get to the winner's circle until her most recent outing back on June 24th. But here's another one that I think is gold caliber, but early on in the year, and when you don't have those wins, are you just trying to get yourself into a spot to get that confidence? You don't want to race her over her head. You know, sometimes it's a little different when the first gold is maybe on a smaller track and the grassroots at a bigger track, but that's reversed here, and they bring her into a spot where they're hoping she's going to continue to build confidence and get another victory. So, I mean, Ruby's are nice to me. It was just going to be too tough to go against in this spot, even with post position number 6. Robert Reed is with me right there, but you know, you're going to shake things up, Greg, and go with Larry's girl, and I think you'd be pretty satisfied with a 4-1 price.
Yeah, absolutely, and then that's really the reason I went to her, knowing that in these races anything can happen. I believe that if Ruby's are nice, gets away in good order, she will be the one to beat in here. I think from a talent perspective, she's a little bit ahead of the others for the most part, but Larry's girl, one that's on the improve. I think there's a major upside for the filly and a good post to work with, and has shown a decent amount of tactical speed in her early starts, and has probably a good fit in Bob McClure in the driver's seat. A patient driver, very good with the trotters, and he'll get the driving assignment here. So again, we are moments away from our second OSS Grassroots division this afternoon. Just one race ahead of the Kin Pace, which is our featured event as part of our coverage. And we want to welcome all of our viewers tuning in again today. A shout out to Sherwin Edwards, a regular viewer tuning in. Our good buddy Sean Copey is watching. He's probably got his Tim Hortons. Maybe he's got a cold beverage in hand today, a little bit later in the day, and a hot one out there. Our good buddy Ozzie McKay watching from down in Moncton this afternoon as well. People watching from all over, and great to have you on board. And we're going to get 3 of those names drawn randomly at the end of the show for the win-back baseball caps. So here's something interesting we see from time to time, Mark, a horse that comes off the track and all the way into the infield. Maybe you can, for viewers that are just tuning in and wondering what's going on there.
Yeah, I think just it's a lot of just keeping a horse calm and maybe a little easier on their feet as well, just getting them on the grass before the race, before they get them stepping out there, and just keeping them, again, from getting too hot. So Havana Moon is an interesting one. The back stable, like you said, just taking over on this daughter of Muscle Mass. They had an upset win yesterday in a grassroots event at Sarnia with Rosie's War Bond. She was a 22-1 upset winner, so maybe there's a little bit of barn momentum that could be sprung on to Havana Moon, who's currently the second, or I should say third longest shot at 19-1.
All right, a man that's had a good vantage point, has been able to talk to many of the connections today, so might have a little bit different insight for us here. Let's go out to Robert standing by with his thoughts on this upcoming ninth.
Well, you know what, gentlemen, Ruby's in ice right now at 1-9. Well, there's no betting value there, and you guys know I'm a betting man. That's the horse that I went with, and I think that she is certainly the class of the field. The thing that I'm concerned about for both her and Charmbo Princess is the fact that neither of them have ever stayed flat over a half-mile surface yet. So, but Ruby's are nice. Looked a lot better last time. The trotting hobbles came off this season. She's looked a lot more sturdy on her feet. Doug McNair seemed very confident. So I'm sticking with that one as my top selection. But Greg, I don't mind what you've done in going to Larry's Girl. I think this one is definitely a filly trending in the right direction. And right now at 11-1, for wagering perspective, I might be looking at that one.
Yeah, and if you were playing maybe exactors or something like that, you might use the 2 for first and second with a bunch. Hoping that she's going to show the same, level of maturity that she's shown so far in her young career. You tend to do that in races like this, Mark, where you look for horses that you think will likely stay flat. That's job one when it comes to races like this. Having said that, in the last race, we were quite high in Hope So, and that's a big reason we gave that one a lot of a look in that race. She's the one that made the miscue, so you just never know.
Exactly, and Robert brings up a good point about a couple of the top selections never having kept it all together on a half-mile oval. You can look at it and say, well, that was last year. They've matured. But then if they run here today, you'll say, well, see, they just can't get around the half. So there's a little bit of uncertainty in this game. That's why we race them.
All right, good tilt coming up here. 7 3-year-old filly trotters lining up for the 9th. And again, Frank Salive with the call.
Luna Sealster with Larry's Girl and Charmbo Princess to start at the inside. Havana Moon, Fortune Teller's K, overwhelming favorite Rubies Are Nice, and Elegance Do It All. It's 9th race post time in Clinton. 4th division of the Grassroots Series, 3-year-old filly trotters in motion, approaching a start. They're off and trotting, and it's Fortune Teller's K and Donnie Rankin Jr. trying to beat them out of there. Havana Moon and Steve Byron with an aggressive gate rush. Charmbo Princess was off stride a few steps there. On her flank past the trouble, the hot favorite Rubies Are Nice is off stride. Rubies Are Nice has made an early break there. Coming on into the front 4 is Elegance Do It All. Off stride Luna Sealster, Larry's Girl is in the backfield. And the 1-9 favorite went up in the air in the first turn. Rubies Are Nice. It's wide open now. Here comes Charmbo Princess after a break of her own. She's going to rush to the lead. An action-packed opening quarter. And now it's Charmbo Princess out in front for Mike Saftik, midway on the turn. Racing along in second was Havana Moon after a big gate rush, and they approached the halftime completion in an action-packed 9th race. Charmbo Princess is out in front by 2 or 3. Then Fortune Teller's K just 10 behind, tucked behind Havana Moon. 3 more lengths to Elegance Do It All ahead of Larry's Girl. Coming to the outside is Rubies Are Nice, about 8 lengths to Totally Redeem Herself. Luna Sealster is way back of the group. They pass that half in 1 minute and 2, and onto the backstretch, Charmbo Princess opens 3. Back in second is Havana Moon. Fortune Teller's K third. She comes out right in front of Rubies Are Nice there on the backstretch. But it's Fortune Teller's K moving up on the outside now. Rubies Are Nice only 4 lengths away from redemption time as they pass 3/4, going on to the final turn. Improving a position, Larry's Girl ahead of Elegance Do It All, and way back is Luna Sealster. So it's Fortune Teller's K stalking Charmbo Princess. Rubies Are Nice is all the way back up to third, and they turn for home in the 4th Grassroots Division. Charmbo Princess off stride in late stretch. Fortune Teller's K and Donnie Rankin Jr. inherit this victory. Larry's Girl coming on for second. Finishing third, Havana Moon. Rubies Are Nice again off stride in late stretch. Bombs away in the 4th Grassroots Series Division, 201 and 4.
Well, there you go. A little bit of everything, you know, they're fun to watch from an entertainment standpoint because it's so much unpredictability. You know, where some races a heavy favorite gets control of the race and the result is really never in doubt. That wasn't the case. There were many different scenarios that could play out, and as we watched, and that's the good news or one of the good things about the up close camera angles that we have now. Going to 3/4, you could tell by the body language of the 3, you just wondered if she could maintain what she was doing and hold it together. And it was important for Donnie Rankin to make sure that his filly stayed flat and stayed within range and was there to pick up the pieces. And there was Larry's Girl, you know, had a lot of luck on her side, but finished up well and gets a 2nd place check.
Yeah, going into the first turn, it was Charmbo Princess who track announcer Frank Salib called it, made a quick break in that first turn, and you just watched. She was never completely comfortable. I thought the turns were maybe her issue. Here she got out of that last turn, and you'd have to think Mike Saftik thought, okay, we can get through this final 16th, but she ends up going off stride, and like you said, Donnie Rankin just had to make sure that he had Fortune Teller's K, you know, keep her together, keep her close enough, and it's going to work out perfectly for her to break her maiden in what was today her 17th career start. And what a time to break your maiden, but doing it in an OSS grassroots event. But overall, you know, I go back to that point Robert Reed made. Charmbo Princess, Rubies Are Nice. They'd never been able to stay flat over a half-mile oval. Well, that continues here today. And for Rubies Are Nice, she made that miscue, and part of me, Greg, going to 3/4, thought she's still going to get a good chunk of this, and unfortunately for the connections, rolls off stride again at the head of the lane.
Yeah, a lot of talent there if they can get everything going in the right direction. And for Fortune Teller's K, yes, a lot of luck to get to the winner's circle, but the filly was much better today in her own right. Her last start at Sarnia, which is a 5/8 mile oval, you know, she backed away in the final quarter in an overnight race and was charted in 201 and 3. Today she trotted in 201 and 4, passed some rivals in the backstretch, and she was going to be clearly second at least if not threaten the winner anyway. So, you know, with a bit of luck combined, it results in a big upset victory. But yeah, Rankin certainly had her better and ready to go this time around, and what a day to break the maiden. So she'll take the lion's share of the 21,000 plus purse, and as you can see, some very happy connections. And Donnie himself will be happy because he owns part of the affiliate and does the training and driving himself. And another guy that's had an excellent career here in the province, and we see him from time to time in these grassroots divisions. And there we go. He had her ready to go, and that good gate speed really served her well in this spot. So we'll catch up to Donnie in a moment. Robert Reed standing by over in the winner's circle location, and we'll get the prices for you as well. So yeah, my talk before the race about maybe playing Larry's Girl up and down in the exactor, for anyone that did that or had time to maybe try that tactic, you should be well rewarded here, I think, in this 9th race. So we've got Robert Reed ready over in the winner's circle with a very happy Donnie Rankin Jr.
Yeah, I am here with a very happy Donnie Rankin Jr. Awesome way for your filly to break her maiden, her 17th start in a grassroots OSS race. What do you got for me, Donnie?
Oh, I'm as surprised as everybody else. I was hoping for a check, and that's why we raced them, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a small horse, and she's handy on a half. So.
Yeah, well, that was the key today, right?
Exactly.
I mean, opportunistic.
Exactly.
You had her in the right position to really take advantage of some miscues there, and she stayed with it. So at what point did you know you were a winner?
When Mike ran through the stretch.
Well, that's a fantastic victory there, and sometimes, you know, it's just being opportunistic and being in the right place at the right time. So congratulations, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you guys. Yeah, Donnie, native of Nova Scotia, and yeah, he's been racing around the Windsor area and London for a few decades now. Real good guy, and you know, he's had a lot of success over the years as well. So we're able to get some prices for you, and there they are, some healthy returns here. Fortune Tellers K. Maybe you needed to be a fortune teller to be able to predict that today, but 45.30 with Larry's Girl and Havana Moon rounding out your top three. It gets you a try worth $715.65, and the exacta just shy of $200. A nice return and an upset in our final grassroots division of the afternoon. So the stage is set for our main event. It's the Kin Pace Final. Almost 60,000 on the line. It's coming up next. We'll take a quick commercial break and talk more Kin Pace in a moment.
Producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Welcome back to scenic Clinton Raceway. Welcome back to scenic Clinton Raceway in Clinton, Ontario. Getting a look at the fans, the spectators watching in up on the hill today in front of the Red Barn, one of the famous landmarks here at the Oval. Welcome once again. And an entertaining afternoon to this point in time, and that brings us up to our main event, the Kin Pace Final. We had a look at the winner from 2 years ago earlier on the card. Her name was Significance. Last year it was the He's Watching filly scoring for Jody Jamieson in an upset. I want to ask you, first of all, are you envisioning an upset this year. How do you see the race unfolding?
I'm going to say that we just saw our upset for today's action. I really think a better game on paper, and from what we saw last week, it is the class of this field. Now, of course, we do have to race these events, and when the money is on the line, they can certainly mix it up. But I thought last week's elimination winners, and we will get a chance to go back and check those out, I thought the elimination winners were all very impressive. But for me, the way a better game did it, she was one that maybe just too good for them. And I hope from an entertainment point of view, we will see a lot of action. But I think if Doug McNair wants, he's got the best filly here to just put everybody else to bed.
All right, let's take a look at the history of the Kin Pace. It started here back in 2008, so it's a relatively young race, but certainly building in tradition. I think we've got a board to look at here as well. And you talked about it earlier today, that it's been a stepping stone for some of the top fillies in the province. And again, part of the community, when you talk about Clinton Raceway, is everything they do for the community in support of Clinton and surrounding area, and this race is no different. It supports the local Kinsmen and Kinettes clubs, and there's a fundraiser almost every weekend here at Clinton for some other community group, so it's really a wonderful way to do things. Doug McNair, he's been the man the last few years in this event. He's won 3 of the last 5 editions, and the stakes record, a 154-3 clocking. But McNair's mastery is something that cannot be overlooked, and he's got a great chance to now go 4 for 6.
Absolutely, and you just look back at 2 of those 3 winners. We already saw significance, but those other 2, the Joy Luck Club and Cracklin' Rosie, these were mares that went on to make their presence felt at higher levels. Certainly the Joy Luck Club, she became one that could race there up at the preferred level. So, I mean, these were horses that at the time, I remember in the case of the Joy Luck Club, I think she certainly stood out as a real top horse in that case, but these were horses that were on the rise, and for Doug McNair, he seems to really love this race, and we'll see that with some drivers from time to time, and he's in a great spot to add another one to make it a grand slam for the Kin Pace, which, as you saw there earlier, again, you don't want to say it's in its infancy, but again, only just over a decade of history for this race, and Doug McNair already a dominant driver in this event.
All right, there's a look at the field of 8 and the current odds. So Jackie of All Trades, your post 1 starter, currently favorite at 6-5. And I think we'll see some fluctuation as we near post time. There'll be, I think, 3 or 4 horses in here that really receive the bulk of the attention when you look at this race, and 3 elimination winners from a week ago. Of the 3, who did you think was the most impressive?
I thought it was a better game, and I know I've already talked a little bit about that, but when you go back, she was a little steppy at the start, and really all Doug McNair had to do in that case was just make sure she got around for that first half, and then he gave her a cue to go. She swept her rivals up the backside. I mean, the way she was probably pacing from the top of the backstretch all the way down, she must have paced an 8th in there, I would say, in maybe even 13 seconds. I mean, she was just absolutely smoking and took care of business in dominant fashion. But what was interesting to hear earlier in our comments was from Brett MacDonald, and just saying that with Salzburg Olympia, he hasn't even gotten to her bottom just yet, so she's got a lot more to offer, which certainly has me intrigued coming into today's race.
All right, a full field of 8 chasing that purse of almost $60,000 this afternoon. And before they come out for post parade here, we'll give you a look here in a moment at our selections. Give you some time to really think about it. Hopefully, if you're watching today, you're having a chance, as this fly is starting to really annoy me. He wants to weigh in, I think, with his selection here. There's a look at our top picks. Salzburg Olympia for myself and Robert. You like a better game. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Jackie of All Trades, another one I wouldn't be shocked at. Sports Duchess could be a factor, I think, for McIntosh, Jamieson. So really good field, really competitive group. And we want to talk handicapping here a little bit as we near post time. How would you play the race? It's one thing to have your pick to win, but how would you play the race?
See, I wasn't expecting to see the price I am right now on a better game at 6-1. I think that's obviously going to shift as we get closer to post time. It is the early money right now. But I didn't expect to get much of a price on her, so you would be looking for somebody underneath that could potentially give you those nice exotic payouts like we were talking about. And what I do is you go back and you look at last week's eliminations. You try to find someone who could possibly really make their presence felt this week. And the horse for me is probably number 8, Divine Deo. Currently 40-1. It's going to start from the second tier. Sylvain Filion picking up a real live catch drive. Now, he's obviously driven her before, but it was James McDonald that qualified her for the final. Sylvain comes back into the bike today, and here's one that recently moved to Ontario, and again, just going to get more comfortable with each passing week in her new environment. And I thought really this race was over at the 3/4 last week. She wasn't going to touch the winner, and all she did was just finish up nicely in the second. She wasn't hard to use, so I think she could have a lot to offer here today.
All right, we'll see them make their way out from that paddock location in just moments from now. 10-race paddock barn here at Clinton. Very nice facility, as we talked about before. There are a couple of barns located just on the outer perimeter of the property, including the Big Red Barn, where there are local horses stabled, and a few other barns up on the main hill as well. They've got a centralized race office here that's located just beside the grandstand that was built a couple of years ago, and they provide race office services for several racetracks in the province. And they've got a Reach Agricultural Center and Sports Center located on the property as well. So yeah, really neat location, a cool racetrack, and this is their big race of the year, the Kin Pace, coming up in just a few moments. Some of the top 3-year-old filly pacers currently in action in Ontario, and they'll be chasing that $60,000 purse. And we'll watch the odds closely. I would agree, not a ton of money in the pool right now, so we're going to see those shift as we near post time. So we will take another quick commercial break, and when we come back, it's time to meet the field for this year's Kin Pace.
Dark Horse. Download the app today.
Horses and drivers now heading out for race 10. It is the Kin Pace final. Let's quickly take you back 1 week ago, and we'll show you the replays and how these 3 winners all arrived here this afternoon, along with the supporting cast. And last week in Elimination 1, it was a better game. The Better Than Cheddar filly, who got off to the sluggish start, was a bit bumpy gated, cost herself a lot of ground, but came all the way back to score an impressive win.
She did, and I was mentioning just how quick she was going up the backside. There you see her on the outside. She made a big sweeping move, and she comes on by to take the lead. She's going to end up winning this one by 3 parts of a length over Sweet Pink, who did the heavy lifting on the front end for Jonathan Drury. That's one, though, that did not have the fortune with her at the post position draw. She'll start from the outside post 7. And I guess, Greg, we should also point out there was some hot competition to make this final, as with 3 eliminations, only the top 2 were going to be guaranteed out of each. Third place finishers, only 2 of the 3 were going to move on.
Yeah, and Sweet Pink, I think you're going to see a similar approach today with that outside starting position. Second elimination a week ago. Not much drama here. Salzbrook Olympia to the front. Couple of left turns. Home and cooled.
That was in Brett McDonald, very confident in her coming into today. You see number 6 there, that was Divine Dale. This is where I talked about, it wasn't a bad performance from her at all. She just moves around a tiring rival, doesn't have to be hard used, just with the fact that Salzbrook Olympia put this race to bed at the 3/4. But Salzbrook Olympia, real strong effort, and she is just continuing to rack up the wins, now 5 in a row.
And she'll have post 4, the identical starting spot. It'll give Brett McDonald a few options. He'll, I'm sure, try and get forwardly spotted, and she looks like she can race on the front or from off the pace as well. And the final split, also a gate-to-wire effort last week from Jackie of All Trades. She's got the benefit of the rail starting spot today.
She certainly does, and last week in this elimination, she goes to the front. She faced moderate pressure coming up to the half, but you know the line's going to look a little tougher than it really was. She put away a long shot rival and goes on to a victory of just over a length. I really liked her performances to kick off her campaign in the middle of June at Woodbine Mohawk Park. 2 back, she was second to Jody, an undefeated pacing filly who I think we're going to hear lots from this year. So Jackie of All Trades, good in her elimination, and she takes it by a little over a length over Sports Duchess, who will be the second entrant from the Blake McIntosh barn here in today's final.
So Better Than Cheddar had 2 elimination winners from a week ago in Jackie of All Trades and a better game. Better Than Cheddar last year, 6th in the OSS program in terms of overall earnings. Better's Delight led the way in that regard. Salzbrook Olympia, she's a daughter of Big Jim. Big Jim last year was 7th, but had far less starters than the top 6. He had only 53 starts last year, but his average earnings per start was 2nd highest in the OSS. So not shocking to see him. He's been one of those kind of underrated stallions that's had a number of top horses the last couple of years.
Certainly has, and picked up a victory the other night in the OSS Gold for 2-year-old pacing fillies. So got a good looking crop that's come out onto the track this year in 2021. But overall, just looking at the betting board now, Greg, 8-5 on the rail starter Jackie of All Trades. As I expected, my top pick, a better game, comes down to 2-1, while you're getting 7-2 on Salzbrook Olympia. So the favorites are the talk of the tote boards, no doubt about that. What's interesting is number 2, Bet Light, just taking a little bit of play based on post position. She's 5-1, and she isn't one that I certainly would have rated that high.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see in here for sure. 8-5, Jackie of All Trades continues to hold. I think the value at 3-1 right now belongs on the 4, Salzbrook Olympia in this spot. There's Jody Jamieson at Sports Duchess. She was a solid runner-up to Jackie of All Trades last week. One that I think certainly could jump up and be a little bit better this time around as well. Let us know who you like in our comments section. We're still a moment or two away. Hello again to some of our viewers tuning in. Daryl Bell, thank you, Daryl, for the nice comment. Frank Kettler's watching in from Manitoba. Hello to you as well. And don't forget, we're going to draw 3 names following the show today, and they'll be taking home a Winback Farm baseball cap. So make sure to leave us a comment, and tell us who you like in this spot. Have the odds, the current odds, affected who you like in any way, shape, or form? For you, Mark, I think you'd be satisfied, would you not, at 2-1?
I would. I thought she'd go off as the favorite. Maybe things will shift with the rail starter being an elimination winner as well. It's going to get a lot of love. 2-1 on a better game. It's time to kind of take a look and see how maybe this race is going to play out on the track. And I think for Doug McNair, he's going to have to be cautious with a better game, considering she did have that steppy start a week ago. He knows what she's got when he's got to go to her. And that's where you wonder, does he let everyone else maybe mix it up in the early going and try and pick up the pieces? At the same time, though, you just don't want to get yourself in a tough spot. So I think he's going to have to really see how things shake out. And there's going to be somebody, I'm sure, that's going to take a real blast. And is that Sweet Pink? I mean, she got to the front last week, but here's an outside starting spot, post 7. We've seen them try it here before. It doesn't always work, but it's maybe worth a shot.
And I really think there's no option to at least try and see what happens. But no question, there will be some speed to his inside. And I think a better game is really the wild card in here. Can she get forwardly spotted enough to keep herself in a contending spot? As good as she is, I think trying to win from 7th or 8th at this level today will be difficult to do. I expect a mile probably in the 55, 56 range at least. So having said that, you want to get that all-important early position without using your horse too hard. Jackie of All Trades, I think you would expect this one's going to be somewhere situated in the top 2 or 3 going to that opening quarter. Brett McDonald's going to push out again. She was so handy off the gate last time out. She had the quickest opening quarter of 28-4. I think they're going to get down there a little bit quicker today. The opening quarters were, the fastest one was 28-2. in the one division that A Better Game did win, and that was Compliments of Sweet Pink. So she had the fastest first quarter a week ago. She's probably going to have to get down there even faster today if she's going to make the front from post 7. But we've seen stranger things happen in these races, and it will be interesting to see. So trip handicapping, how do you see it going?
Well, that's it. I think A Better Game won't be just absolutely blasting out of there, and she might not spend a lot of time down at the rail either. I think Doug McNair will have her out and going pretty quickly there. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that's going to benefit, and maybe it is a horse like Sports Duchess that I thought had a good performance in her elimination, and again, wasn't hard to use throughout and finished up with a little bit of pace. So maybe things can shake out well for her. But do they mix it up at the front? I certainly think so. I think Robert Shepard's got to, he's got to get everything he can out of Jackie of All Trades right in the early going. So we're looking now at the betting board and 8-5 now. So favoritism has shifted over to A Better Game.
Yeah, and you mentioned Divine Dale and the kind of sneaky good trip that she went a week ago and finishing second. That was only her second start in Ontario. She started her racing career in Charlottetown, paced in 56-4 over the half-mile oval there, owned by Nova Scotia Connections, Marcel Barrio training. And, post 8 with Sylvan driving, really no option but to follow, and could fall into a beautiful trip. Sometimes it works out from that second tier. So a really intriguing edition of the Keen Pace here in 2021. Frank Salive just mentioned it a moment ago. He thinks it's a driver's race, and I would concur. Here's Frank with the play-by-play of this year's Keen Pace final.
Bet light with Sports Duchess to start at the inside. Salzburg Olympia, then A Better Game and Havarti 1, and Sweet Pink to the outside rank, and in the trailing 8 post is Divine Dale. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 edition, 13th renewal. The Kin Pace at Clinton Raceway at the top of the stretch. The purse, $58,300. The Kin Pace final at the start. And they're off and pacing. Sports Duchess and Sweet Pink are the two leaving hard. Sweet Pink on the extreme outside. And, of course, Jackie of All Trades with her post 1 draw luck. And off stride went Sweet Pink. Sweet Pink is off stride in that first turn. Jackie of All Trades away with the lead. Sports Duchess and Jody Jamieson plug in for the 2-hole journey. Bet Light came away in third, and A Better Game landed down in the front 4. Salzburg Olympia was only 5th best away. Ahead of Havarti 1 and Divine Dale is 7th. And after the first turn break, Sweet Pink is back of the field, and Robert Shepard is slamming on the air brakes there. After the opening quarter in 28-3, Jackie of All Trades will bring him off the turn and up to the half. With Sports Duchess and Jody Jamieson firmly planted in the deuce. Bet light, James MacDonald, they've been traveling along well. Now what is the favorite going to do but come first over? Doug McNair has to come first over right now with A Better Game. A Better Game gives a second over toe to Salzburg Olympia. Shuffled back to 5th is Bet Light along the inside, and up and moving third over is Divine Dale over to the backstretch. The last pair are Havarti 1 and Sweet Pink, and they turn to the 3/4 pole, separated by 1/4 of a length out on the lead. It's Jackie of All Trades inside and A Better Game on the outside. Sports Duchess has enjoyed the pocket view. Salzburg Olympia in a great spot, second over, and Bet Light reclaims 5th down in the inside, ahead of Divine Dale 6th, and then back to Havarti 1 and Sweet Pink out of it, and 3 wide already. There goes Salzburg Olympia, 3 wide from second over. A Better Game has been passed, cutting the mile, Jackie of All Trades. Here comes Salzburg Olympia, and Brett MacDonald to the late stretch lead, bursting through Sports Duchess. Salzburg Olympia captures the 2021 Kin Pace. What a great second over drive by Brett MacDonald to pull off that victory over Sports Duchess and Jackie of All Trades. And it is Salzburg Olympia 156-3.
Brett MacDonald works out a perfect second over trip in here, Mark. And, the race didn't really go as I expected off the gate. He took off the gate and got away 5th, but no panic. He was following the race favorite. It took him up as far as she needed to go. But this filly, that's a big effort. They were sprinting in the third quarter to try and make sure that she stayed on the cover and then have that 3-wide move and able to win it is impressive. And Jody was right in the hunt there as well. Looked like he might sneak through late, but the momentum on the far outside for this filly, who is now 4 for 4, remains undefeated this season. Ultra impressive in winning the Kin Pace.
That was just a great performance from Salzbrook Olympia, and again, it's just so handy here, is she, on this half-mile oval, and for Brett MacDonald, it just worked out perfect like you talked about. And I think in the early goings, I thought they were a little far back, and to be honest, I thought the opening quarter was going to come up a lot quicker with just how gapped out they were. But for Brett MacDonald, maybe there was a bit of strategy there in letting Doug McNair settle in front. A better game, just you can't roll her too much into that first turn, and then you just knew at that point he's going to have to come first up, and that was a hard first over move. Came up just attacking and just benefiting it. And you were mentioning it while the race was going, Greg, just MacDonald and Salzburg Olympia were just glued to the back of McNair, and despite the fact they were going as much as they were, was just ready to go, just loaded with the horse. And I think Brett MacDonald he foreshadowed what we were going to see today in that pre-race interview. He knew that there was even more to offer from this daughter of Big Jim, and we saw it here today.
Absolutely. It's interesting, yeah. They went a big middle half. That was a big sprint. Doug McNair in a better game really took a run at Jackie of All Trades, and oftentimes the horse following second over can labor, have trouble keeping up and gap their cover, and that wasn't the case. You knew at the 3/4 point that she was definitely going to be heard from, and when Brett called on her and hit the accelerator on the last turn, the filly responded the way he was hoping she would. And coming to the end, really momentum on the far outside is kind of what carries them there. Sports Duchess, though, Blake McIntosh would be certainly disappointed that a better game didn't have a better result. Tough trip scenario for her. But then the other filly, Sports Duchess, comes up with another solid performance.
She did, and that's the spot, really. I mean, for Jody Jamieson, you said he just had to be waiting for that room, hoping he was going to get it in the lane, and he got enough to come through there. An interesting stat, though, that jumps out, Greg. Salzbrook Olympia, last week when she won by 4.5 lengths, that was actually the smallest margin of victory of her career. She's just had blowout wins. This is the first time she's been in a race and really had to be involved in a lot of action. And so to see her then just ramp it up today, there's a lot of talent with this 3-year-old filly. And again, you're getting 660 on a horse that's just been red hot. You'll take that any day.
Nice pari-mutuel returns in here, especially the 4-3 exacta combination at just over $85. The dollar try, $110.75. Sports Dutch is really making those exotic payouts with Jackie of All Trades. Good effort from her. She went to the front, did the road work, faced heavy pressure, and held in well, and a better game, rounding out your top 4 and the superfecta combination there in race number 10. I believe now we're going to head over trackside. Robert Reed Jr. is standing by with a happy winning driver.
All right, well, I'm here with winning driver Brett MacDonald on Salzbrook Olympia. What a performance and what a steer. Brett, give me a little bit about the trip there.
Going into it, I wanted to see if I could get Dougie in front of me because he was the best one to follow, and I knew if she got a second over trip right to the head of the lane that she'd be good.
Yeah, and she seemed really handy in all of her efforts this year. You never really have to rush this one off the gate, and today an off the pace score, so now she showed versatility.
Yeah, she's very versatile. You can do it any way you want.
Awesome. Well, you know what? You came into this with confidence. We were talking earlier, and you thought that you had the best filly in the race. Yeah. She certainly proved it today. Tell us a little bit about the relationship with Brian Lee in this one.
Yeah, Brian got her to train, and then I was lucky enough to keep driving her, so that was great.
Awesome. Well, right now you've now won 6 in a row for Salzbrook Olympia, and certainly big things to come from this filly in the grassroots this year. Who knows? Maybe even beyond that. Awesome job, Brett. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much to Robert Reed Jr., Brett MacDonald, and big moment for Brett, and it's good to see, right? It's a test for a young driver on this stage, and there was so many chances for horses to win this race, and Frank Salive talked about it earlier. It was a driver's race, and he had a real definitive game plan that worked out beautifully.
Yeah, he did, and I kind of alluded to that as soon as the race was done, that this probably worked out exactly what he was wanting, how he was wanting this race to go. And then you hear it in the interview right there. You know, he knew who the horse to follow would be. It might have sent him back a little bit further than you'd want to be going, you know, into the early stages of the race, but ultimately you knew that you were going to have the best horse carrying you, the one that you wanted to be following, and just a great steer. And as we was mentioned, you know, seeing that versatility now from her, she's one that's just been consistently, for the most part, gone to the front. She's never really been in too many battles. You know what? She got it done. She had a couple close calls, maybe 3 back, but here today she had to go by horses late, and she did it really nicely.
All right, she was my top pick in the race. I'm not going to say I saw it going exactly that way, but I'll put the same question to Robert Reed as we bring him in. She was your pick. Did you see her winning from off the pace today, or did you think she was going to be doing the road work?
No, actually, Greg, I really thought she'd do what she usually been doing, which is get off the gate and then move to the lead. I was surprised, actually, but, you know, I was happy with that being my selection that she actually did get to follow, you know, a better game. I mean, a great steer by Brett MacDonald, and he went into it with a plan. Now, they wouldn't really tell us too much before the race what they were going to do, but wow, it worked out really well. He followed a better game, live cover, and boy, did she ever explode in this stretch, and very, very impressed with Salzburg Olympia. I've got to watch this horse at Grand River Raceway, and I've been impressed with her every single start so far this season, and I think there's big things to come for this filly.
I would agree, and great job today, Rob. Wonderful to have you on board. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. And as far as our viewers are concerned, well, here's where we will see you next time out. Today, the opening live broadcast of the race season here, and we'll be covering events across the province of Ontario all season long. Our next stop is going to be Hanover Raceway at the end of July for the Dream of Glory Trot, another wonderful venue in Hanover, Ontario. One of the biggest days of the racing season is in early August. It's the Battle of Waterloo Industry Day at Grand River. We'll be covering the Earl Row from Georgian Downs, and then back at Woodbine Mohawk Park for another busy month of September and into October, with a bit of a shift in the stakes schedule this season, and likely another show or two that will get plugged in somewhere along the line as we cover many of the big race events across the province, and great to have you on board. So a reminder to stay tuned to our social channels following today's race program. We will announce the 3 winners of our Winback Farm baseball caps. Thank you to all of you for tuning in today and for commenting and interacting with us. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage, and we will see you next time on COSA-TV.